Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. A very warm welcome to Wednesday's edition of the DCU Daily. Now, if you stay tuned to the end of the video, I will give you a huge update on Constantine 2, and I'll tell you what Matt Ramos, aka Supes, thought of the new Captain America movie, because I think you'll be very surprised what the biggest shill in the business had to say. It's absolutely hilarious at this point. Anyway, DC fandom is at war. We are a divided fan base. The Superman film is walking a very, very dangerous tightrope, and it could fall off that tightrope at any moment. And who's to know what kind of film it is, what it's going to be, how well or how badly it's going to be. We're all holding our breaths, whatever we want for this film, whether it's bad things or good things, but we are a divided fan base. We're not a divided fan base because of us. We're a divided fan base because of the actions of Warner Brothers Pictures and Warner Brothers Discovery, because of the people who ran WB before and who are running it now. There's this war going on between Zack Snyder stands and James Gunn stands, and at this point, I don't know who's at the right point of history, but you know what? James Gunn makes out that he's the adult in the room, sitting there stroking dogs, making out he's a nice guy. When it was first announced that he was doing Superman, he was making a Superman film, that he was co-CEO of DC Studios, a lot of Zack Snyder fans went off at him and were saying some pretty below-the-belt things, if I'm being honest. But he could have and should have been the adult in the room. Instead, he went on to X Twitter and called the Snyder fan base a toxic fan base. That was absolutely wrong. He should have addressed the Snyder fans' attacks. He should have said, listen, I know you're very upset. I know Zack Snyder. He absolutely has been treated badly by the studio. He should have been allowed to finish his Snyderverse arc. It was wrong. That is beyond my control. I have been put in charge of DC. I am writing and directing a Superman film. I don't think at that point he was directing the movie. He was forced to direct the movie. He was pressured by Peter Safran. Never wanted to direct the movie. Never wanted to write a Superman movie. Had to, or he wouldn't have got the Suicide Squad. It's not a great position for a film to be in, or a movie director, a creative to be in. But what he should have said, that's what he should have said. He should have said, look guys, I know you're upset with me, but I didn't stop Zack Snyder from doing this. Even if I wasn't here, they wouldn't have allowed him to do it. He should have been the adult in the room. I'm going to try and make the best Superman film I can for you all. I apologize that you're upset, but can we please try and be friends? Something like that. That's what I would have done, no matter what people say about me. That's it. That's what I would have done. As a YouTuber, even an unknown one, an unsuccessful one, I get a lot of attacks. I get a lot of attacks on social media. I very rarely go on the attack back. Now and again, you've seen me on a live. I've lost it, of course. We're only human. But I do try and ignore it and try and, hold my hand out to people. I think it's the only way, right? You catch more bees, flies even, with honey than you do with vinegar. And the attack he made on the Snyder fans didn't help the situation. Also, I haven't heard him once say to his stans, listen guys, I've been seeing all these arguments between you and Zack Snyder fans. Could you please stop it? You're not a fan of mine if you're attacking other fans. He could have put this to bed a long time ago, but he stayed quiet on the divide, right? Because his fans are really the only support he's got for this movie and for him being co-CEO of DC Studios, so he's treading carefully not to upset them. But he should have put his fans straight from the beginning. Same with Zack. And Zack never does it, by the way. But Zach loves his fans. They've donated to the suicide prevention charity. I get it. But both directors, from the very beginning when this divide started, because look, the fandom's been broken even before James Gunn and his stands got involved with it. What they did to Zach, the mess of everything, divided the fan base. Saying they're bringing back Cavill and then not bringing back Cavill, fractured the fan base even further. This is on them. It's not on us. It's not on Gunn stands. It's not on Snyder stands. It's on them. They did this. And Zack Snyder and James Gunn could easily put this divide to bed by saying, look, guys, don't attack your fans, but just say, look, guys, enough is enough. I'm seeing you're bullying each other, attacking each other. It's silly. I'm looking forward to my movie coming out, And Zack can say, listen, I love the three movies, I'm proud of them, but let's keep it on a level. They don't do that. And Gunn, as I say, at least Zack has never attacked Gunn's stands, right? But Gunn came out and called the Snyder fans ages ago, as we all remember, a toxic fan base. He made the situation. By doing that, he gave his stands permission to attack Snyder fans. And, as I say, Gunn's the one who makes out he's a good guy, that he's petting dogs, that he's got this dog Ozu and he loves him and he brought him and, it was very hard at first and it was inspiration for crypto and all of that. He makes out, they all make out in this industry how great they are. And it's not true. Because James, you could have healed. I mean, you'll never heal the fan base totally, right? People are angry. People are upset. People are divided. And we live in a very heightened reality these days, especially on social media. But if Gunn kind of addressed his fan base about this situation, it would heal. It would solve the problem slightly. But he hasn't done that. So this continues to be a divided fan base. I've seen so much nonsense spoken. It's interesting. Recently, Nicholas Hoult spoke about how he feels about his Lex Luthor character and how he understands why he doesn't trust Superman because he's got all this power. And I simply said, well, this was really addressed in Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice. Eisenberg's Lex was also concerned by the power Superman has. He says to Superman, God can't be all good and all powerful, or something along those lines. This has been addressed, and I said, it would be nice if there's some originality in this film, because there doesn't seem to be a lot of originality in this film. As I've said before, Gunn seems to be ticking Superman's greatest hits. Oh, Lex Luthor breaks into the Fortress of Solitude. Check. Oh, Otis, Miss Tessmarker. Check. Right? There doesn't seem to be anything original. Gunn doesn't seem to have an original vision, right? Because Donner and Mankiewicz had an original vision. Singer had the vision of continuing the Donnerverse and doing something of his own as well. Snyder, Goyer and Nolan had an original idea of making a contemporary Superman movie. Gunn doesn't seem to have an original bone in his body here. And that's the thing. And we discussed yesterday how I've been told this movie is exactly in the tone of Guardians of the Galaxy. But James Gunn could have put this divide to bed. He could have at least calmed the situation, but not once. And I've heard him in the past saying that DC and Marvel fans shouldn't argue, and it's not a rivalry, and us lot who make the films, we love each other, all that BS. Nobody likes each other in this biz, by the way. But anyway, there are no friendships, right? The highborn don't understand the concept of friendships. Let's make that clear. But he could have addressed his fans at any time to calm this situation down. And I mean, look, when you're dealing with stands, there is no objectivity. That's why they're stands. Zack's people love Zack, and all they want to see is DC Snyderverse. And the Gunn stands believe that James Gunn is the bestest director ever. and there you have it. And we'll find out what this movie is on July the 11th. But for me, this divide goes back a long time, and it's not just about Snyder fans versus Gunn fans. It's the fact that WB broke this fan base. They broke the fan base by driving Zack away, by getting Whedon to urinate on Zack's Justice League movie. There is that as well. And then the firing of Henry Cavill, the bringing back of Cavill, then the firing of Cavill again, an absolute mess. Then those 4 final DCEU movies that should have all been shelved along with Batgirl, they wasted marketing, the movies flopped, and James Gunn again, when asked to change those final DCEU movies like The Flash and Aquaman and Lost Kingdom, should have said no as a creative, but he didn't. He put his stamp on them and they were terrible. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was going to be a great sequel to the first film. James Wan is a great director. James Wan no longer has any associations with Warner Brothers Discovery anymore since what Gunn did to him and his movie. Something else I've already discussed on here. So Gunn has a responsibility here. When he sees the divide, when he sees the arguments, it's not a good thing, and he could have not called out his fan base, but calmed the situation down. Right, let's give you a very exciting DC update. We have an update on Constantine 2. Now, I'm much more excited for a possibility of a Constantine 2 film, and I'm very excited about the Batman 2. More excited for those movies than I am for any movie in the DCU. This is the direction we should be going in, singular visions, not plastic, cardboard cutout franchises. Anyway, this is an update from the director, Francis Lawrence, on Constantine 2. I will say we are closer than ever to being able to do a sequel, which is a great thing. And Akiva, which is Akiva Goldsman, I think, Keanu and I are super excited about it. We have a great idea. We have gone through a bunch of the comics over the years and looked at things. I will say that there is probably grains from things that we are pulling, but in truth, most of it is just coming from the three of us. Loving the character, loving the world, having it sort of in the back of our minds for 20 years, and just kind of percolating on ideas and stories and characters we love and ideas we love. So this is very, very exciting. The director claims they're more closer than ever before on being able to make a Constantine 2. I loved the first movie. It was great. And this will be DC Elseworlds. This is very exciting. This is more exciting than anything else happening in the DCU as well. This is Matt Ramos, Supes, with James Gunn, Saffron, and the whole team when they were launching the Superman trailer in a cinema or a theatre or whatever they were doing. This is, this sums up modern day geekism, modern day nerdism, right? He's got lots of subscribers, so let's bring them down. It's not just him, there was a bunch of them. And, fans like us should have been there to see the premiere of this trailer, not Supes. Anyway, this is what Mr. Shield himself had to say about Captain America, Brave New World. Captain America Brave New World was a big disappointment, felt very empty and lacks the heart of a Captain America movie. The action is edited to death with thousands of cuts. What does that mean? I mean, films are edited, but yeah, I suppose I get what he's trying to say. The dialogue is very cheesy. Well, aren't comic books cheesy? Weird looking green screens, undercooked villains. Don't expect a lot of Red Hulk either. This felt like it was supposed to be a Hulk movie that just shoehorned Sam as the lead. So, this is very interesting because the things that he's criticizing are the things he's complimented in the past when he's called the MCU the bestest ever. But it's interesting because I'd much rather see a Hulk movie because Hulk's been done dirty in the MCU anyway. So that's interesting. Liv Tyler's in it. There's a lot of interesting facets from the original Incredible Hulk movie. So we'll see. Maybe if this guy hates it, it's actually a good movie.